welcome in. It is a Wednesday, February 4th already. We've already seen that, what is it, groundhog, warthog, woodchuck? What is that thing that comes out of the ground? Supposedly it's a beaver. Yeah, we saw the beaver come out of the... You know, I do have the beaver from... should I grab it real quick? It's over on the other side of my studio.
Oh.
But I have the beaver popcorn bucket from Naked Gun. Yeah.
Yep.
It's I'm so scatterbrained this AM. It's so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 6 more weeks of winter, evidently, which is no big surprise because it's always 6 more weeks of winter after Groundhog Day here in Minnesota. So there you go. But it's Supernatural News and Parashare here on Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Good day. Good day. Good day, sir. As you can hear in the background, that is our queen of the paranormal, our siren of the supernatural, ladies and gentlemen, Mallie Fox. Hi, Mallie.
Hello.
If you're watching on video, we've put Mallie behind the shield because there are children around today, so we don't want you weirdos looking at her children.
Yes. Plus, it's the butt crack of dawn.
Yeah, well, there's that.
I've had an early morning.
Yeah, I have too. I should be behind a shield today because if you people are watching on video, you've seen that I've broken the capillaries in my eyes and look like Uncle Fester again yet today. So
yeah, you're Uncle Fester and I'm a crack whore.
Wow, that's got to go on the button bar.
I am looking rough. So it's been a rough morning.
It's been a rough week so far, I think. Yeah. But,
it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm sorry it's been such a rough week. Yeah, but we'll get through it together. That's what I told Jess yesterday. We'll get through it together.
Yeah.
Hey,
did I ever tell you that when I took the kids to New York City, that was their first time seeing a crack whore?
Yes, you did say that. Yeah, it was their first time seeing a crack whore. Yeah.
And bush. They saw a crack whore with her bush. She wasn't wearing underwear. Did I tell you that?
I think you did. Yeah. Was she just fully hanging out, or was it the skirt
she
was
had
too
this
hot?
little skirt on, and she was screaming, and it was right outside Grand Central Station, and we heard yelling, and we turned around, and this guy was picking her up, and she was screaming, and she just didn't have any underwear on.
Oh.
And it was it was hilarious because right when Derek was turning, he was taking a photo. So we have a photo of her.
Nice.
Yeah. But that was the introduction to New York City for my kids.
You need to find a way to Photoshop her into the Christmas card. That's what you
right?
need to do. Right.
Oh, we should. That would be perfect for next year.
Yeah. Merry Christmas from the Foxes and the Crack Whore. So that'll be fun.
And Bush.
Or
the beaver.
And the beaver. And the beaver. Yeah. And the beef. Right?
Yep.
That'd be fun. Yeah. I'll look forward to getting that card this year.
Oh,
so that'll
most
be fun.
Definitely.
And then I can put
it on the list.
I can put it on my mantle next to the beaver. So
there we go.
Beeve and the beaver. Right?
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I'll just put a beaver's head right in that spot. I'll put these little stickers.
then it's PG, so you can send it to your clergy.
Kid friendly. Yeah.
That'll be fun. Yeah. I'll look forward to it. That'll be fun. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy. We started off with a bang today, haven't we? And we're not talking like crack whore bang for $5 behind an alley.
Right.
We're talking like like a bang, like a fun type of bang.
Yeah.
Not like a desperate bang for $5 in an alley.
Yeah.
But a fun bang.
Yeah. Bang that requires antibiotics.
Yeah. Wow. People are like, what show am I listening to?
I know, exactly. I thought this was paranormal.
Hey, isn't this supernatural news? Why are we talking about antibiotics? Did I hear that right?
Am I on the right station?
Right.
I think my channel's broken.
Did I get the right feed today?
Does this work? Is this thing on?
Antibiotics. When did I tune into Dr. Oz?
Sorry.
Anyway, so today's show, big show today. We're going to talk potential disclosure by July, maybe on the Roswell anniversary. We'll talk about that today. That's a big story that's going around. There may have been a planet discovered out there, Mallie, that's similar to Earth, and it's only 146 light years away. That's if you can travel by light years. That's a challenge that's out there today. Mallie's got a couple of stories today. We're gonna check in with her with some ghost stories, some interesting ghost stories at that. So we'll check in with her after the break. Also in the news today, are you ready for this, Mal? The Edinburgh tomb of philosopher David Hume has been vandalized with satanic symbols.
Oh,
yeah, I know. It's a little sad, but a little weird. We're talking leprechauns today.
Oh,
yeah. I'm not sure of the pronunciation, but I'm sure I'm going to get emails about it because we do go all over the world. Is it Abergavenny?
Guess as good as mine.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But there's an Abergavenny man who claims he woke up in a layer of leprechauns. And we'll talk about it today. I've never woke up in a layer of leprechauns, but I can't imagine it's a good thing.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But we'll talk about it today. That's one of the stories we'll jump into. And a strange metal from beyond our planet has been spotted in ancient treasure.
Okay.
We'll talk about that as well. And for our palate cleanser today, we'll talk about how cold it's been.
Oh, it's been so cold.
Right. And we'll talk about, are you allergic to the cold, or can you be allergic to the cold, and how explosive it can be? We'll talk about that as well. Even as we're speaking right now, Mal, here in Minnesota, it is 2 degrees.
Ooh.
Yeah, we went right back into the deep freeze. We had a little bit of a warm up over the weekend. Forget about it. Yeah, it's cold again.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So evidently the rodent brought that with him yesterday.
Damn that furry thing.
I know. That's what the crack horse said. There you go. Damn that furry thing. Oh, the things it causes, right?
Yeah.
There's that. But we'll start it out today with a rumored alien disclosure speech by our President Trump, which could happen on July 8th.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the big rumor going around Washington right now. Whispers of a disclosure speech on the anniversary of the Roswell incident have been doing the rounds online. According to reports, the rumor comes courtesy of UK filmmaker Mark Christopher Lee, the writer and director of the recent documentary, The Rendlesham UFO, the British Roswell. Lee claims that he was contacted by an insider from Trump's administration who told him that Trump had already prepared a speech confirming the existence of intelligent extraterrestrial life. Initially, the speech was to be given during a United Nations address at some point later this year, but this was then changed to July 8th to coincide with the anniversary of the Roswell incident. According to the insider, Trump had been adamant that the speech should be associated with the infamous incident, which saw an alleged alien spacecraft crash on a ranch outside Roswell in 1947 because of its symbolic association with the UFO phenomenon. The speech would allegedly confirm that an extraterrestrial craft had indeed been retrieved, that alien bodies had been found at the crash site, and that such programs have been ongoing for decades. Well, that's a nice little opener, isn't it? Thank you, President Trump. That's a nice little way to kind of get it all out there, isn't it? Unsurprisingly, Lee's claim had been met with a significant degree of skepticism, with many arguing that rumors of such a speech are likely to be nonsense and that nothing at all will happen on July 8th. Well, that's a fair shot. I think if we were going to take some sort of a prop bet on this deal, I think 50-50 is a good odd for that. It's certainly true that alleged disclosure events have been rumored for years and nothing has ever come of any of them. There's also a great deal of controversy surrounding the Roswell incident itself and whether or not the alleged alien spacecraft was little more than a failed classified balloon experiment. If so, then what is rumored to be in Trump's speech wouldn't make much sense at all. Ultimately, we may have to wait until July 8th to find out for sure. Now, I'm going to tie it all together in one big conspiracy theory and put on my tinfoil hat. Are you ready, Mallie?
Yep.
It's this. Disclosure Day, the movie. I keep pounding this pulpit.
Yep.
Right? Steven Spielberg comes out with the movie. President Trump comes out on July 8th, the Roswell anniversary, and says, guess what, kids? Roswell was real. And we've been doing this all along. And here's the specifics. And I think it all ties into one little bow. But you do it after Disclosure Day comes out. And we get prepped by this movie. We say, boy, wasn't that a great movie? If only, if only. Mm-hmm. And then President Trump follows it up with, if only, but it did happen. Right? So we're sufficiently prepped by Hollywood. What do you think?
I like your way of thinking.
See? Mm-hmm. I really do think there's everything's in lockstep, both Washington and Hollywood. I really do think that that's what's going on here. But I don't know. Call me crazy or I might be crazy. One or the other. It could be happening. Mm-hmm. Our next story has to do with an out-of-control Chinese rocket that almost caused a UK national emergency. A rocket that had been plummeting to Earth had a chance of falling on the UK and Northern Europe this past week. According to reports, the UK government had been readying its emergency alert system recently to prepare for the possibility of debris from a Chinese rocket falling over the country. Officials had asked mobile network providers to ensure that the alert system, which flashes an emergency message on the mobile phones of those affected, was working. The rocket, which is a Chinese, I believe it is a Zhuke 3, had launched back in early December. Sometime after launch, its second stage, which is an object dubbed ZQ-3RB, entered uncontrolled decaying orbit instead of being carefully brought back down in a controlled manner. Its re-entry into Earth's atmosphere was unplanned and prompted concern regarding where it would end up, with the UK and Northern Europe being potential crash sites. The EU's Space Surveillance and Tracking SST agency had described it as quite a sizable object deserving careful monitoring. Fortunately, though, in the end, ZO3RB completely missed the UK and Europe, instead coming down in a remote part of the Pacific Ocean, some 1,200 miles from New Zealand. Well, thank goodness for that. As more and more junk ends up in the Earth's orbit, however, some experts estimate a 1 in 10 chance that someone will end up being killed by falling debris within the next 10 years.
Ooh.
Yeah, that ain't good.
Nope.
A study also found that there was a 1 in 1,000 chance of debris hitting a commercial airliner. Think about that for a second. You're flying up in the air, everything's just fine. You're making your destination on time, and then wham! You're hit by a falling satellite or a falling rocket. Get your life insurance up to date. I mean, sure, it's 1 in 1,000, but
still,
we've reported in the past few weeks about Starlink satellites that are falling out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. But the fact that there's so much junk up in Earth's orbit that's coming down, I mean, isn't that a little alarming, Mel?
Yeah, because that's the last thing I'm thinking.
Right. Well, we just assume we throw things up into space, they stay there, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just, or the Earth's orbit, it should just be there. It shouldn't come back down. But a lot of this stuff is coming down at an alarming rate. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I thought AI and robots was the last thing that I should be worried about, or the only thing I should be worried about. Now, falling stuff from the sky, I'm going to be Chicken Little by the time this program's over. Telling you. By the way, okay, so on a separate note, before we get to the AI part of our program, so I'm watching, on DirecTV, there's the SNL Vault, which is Saturday Night Live Vault. Uh-huh. And I was reminded of, do you remember the old fake ad by Sam Waterston of Law and Order about, it got me thinking about, maybe I'm a little too wound up on AI, where Sam Waterston is talking about you need colonial life insurance for robots, for old people.
No, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? I'm going to try and find the link for it on YouTube and post it in the description of this program. Because, folks, I laughed myself silly. Where Sam Waterston this is when he was back on Law and Order, when he was in his prime. I think he passed away, if I remember right, Sam Waterston.
Oh, he did?
I think so.
Oh.
You know what? I think I have to look it up just to make sure. But yeah, let me look.
I liked
here.
his voice.
Yeah, Sam Waterston had a good voice. Yeah, he was amazing. But Sam Waterston does this. He does this deal where he says, "Hi, Sam Waterston from Law and Order for Colonial Life." He goes, "Do you know what the number one worry of seniors is? No, it's not. It's not an early death. It's robots." He's like, robots are bound to attack you in your home, and they eat old people's medication for fuel. And he's going on and on about how robots can attack old people at any time and take their medication for fuel. And I'm like, do I really sound like that on air? So I started thinking about that, and I do. I think I sound like maybe that's why people don't take me seriously. But it's a funny bit. So I think I'm going to find the YouTube link to that and post it in the description of this program today, because it is the funniest bit ever. And but the year that came out was, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm a liar. I'm looking up Sam Waterston right now. And although, let's see here, Sam Waterston he's still alive. He's 85.
Okay. Well, good.
Why did I think he died?
I'm trying to think if there's someone similar to him where maybe.
Well, I know Jerry Orbach died.
Okay.
Yeah, Jerry Orbach, who was on Law and Order, died. So maybe I'm confusing him with Jerry Orbach. But yeah, he played Jack McCoy on Law and Order for the longest time, but he's 85 now. Interesting. But yeah, Sam Waterston does the whole robots thing. It's funny. I'll send you the link privately, Mallie, so you can see it.
Okay.
But it's the whole Colonial Life selling robot insurance to old people. It's funny, and it's the old Robbie the robot. Yeah, coming to get you. And then there's a little tiny robot that comes in on a table, and an old man and old woman are sitting together. Husband and wife are sitting on the couch, and this little robot comes in on the table, and the old man goes, "Oh, robot!" and the woman goes, "It's just a toy, at least for now." It's just, I don't know. I can see myself getting there in, 5-10 years. But other than that. Our next story. I don't know why I got off on the...
You said only 5 to 10.
Yeah, 5 to 10 years.
Far off.
Yeah, it's not that far off. No. Just 5 to 10 years. Yeah. Our next story has to do with SpaceX. I don't know why I went on the robot tangent, but Sam Waterston, I think is what it was. Yeah. Our next story has to do with SpaceX, which is proposing an orbital data center made up of 1 million satellites. 1 million satellites in space, Mallie. It's all going to come down on our head. Again, I'm just paranoid me. Elon Musk's space firm is seeking regularity approval to develop a satellite constellation of unprecedented scale. If you thought the current array of more than 9,000 satellites that makes up SpaceX's Starlink constellation was excessive, there's 9,000 satellites above our head right now.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot of space junk. This latest endeavor will likely blow your mind. According to reports, the firm is seeking approval from the FCC, Federal Communications Commission, to set up a new orbital data center comprised of 1 million individual satellites. This is why they want a data center on the moon. This is why they want to be able to call energy on the moon so that they can power this thing. Can you imagine this? Operating at altitudes of between 500 and 2,000 kilometers, the satellites would harness solar power to operate much more efficiently than a typical ground-based data center. By directly harnessing near constant solar power with little operating or maintenance costs, the satellites would achieve transformative cost and energy efficiency while significantly reducing the environmental impact associated with terrestrial data centers, which, by the way, chew through a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Launching a constellation of 1 million satellites that operate as orbital data centers is a first step toward becoming a Kardashev Type 2 civilization, one that can harness the sun's full power while supporting AI-driven applications for billions of people today and ensuring humanity's multi-planetary future among the stars. In other words, the space-based data center will be powering artificial intelligence systems at a scale never seen before, a true feat of space-age engineering and technology. According to SpaceX, it is inevitable that the hosting of AI systems will move off-world. Freed from the constraints of terrestrial deployment, within a few years, the lowest cost to generate AI compute will be in space, the company wrote. Whether it will get permission to move ahead with the project, however, remains to be seen. Are we going too far, too fast with AI, Mallie?
Yeah. You know me with AI. I'm not a fan of AI.
The amount of energy it takes to generate AI, I don't think people realize how much it takes just to play with Chat GPT on your phone.
Yeah.
It takes an incredible amount of energy.
Mm-hmm.
But to talk about doing something on this scale, you're talking about rerouting entire systems on Earth to AI. I mean, there's a lot of plans for AI in the works. I don't think people realize what they're planning on doing and how much they're planning on automating on this planet when it comes to AI. They're wanting to change entire systems with this technology. I mean, there's entire careers that are going to go away.
Right.
Yeah. Much like other automation systems, people will have to pivot, but it's going to be a little scary. Right. Our next story has to do with a UFO whistleblower who says or claims that angels in the Bible may have been alien visitors. And of course, we're talking about David Grush, who's testified before on Capitol Hill. Speaking on the Joe Rogan podcast recently, David Grush opened up on his thoughts about aliens and angels. Grush, who previously worked with the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and held top-level clearance at the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, it could be phenomenal too, I don't know, entered the public eye back in 2023 when he made the startling claim that the U.S. government had long been in possession of intact and partially intact vehicles of non-human origin. He later appeared at the subcommittee hearing on UFOs at the U.S. House of Representatives, where, citing extensive interviews with high-level intelligence officials, he maintained that the non-human biologics had been found at some of the crash sites, or these crash sites, and claimed that people had been harmed or injured as a result of government efforts to conceal this information. Speaking to Joe Rogan on his podcast back at the end of December, Grush also made a startling claim concerning the origins of angels and other spiritual beings found in the historical religious texts of various world religions. He maintains that it is possible that the early civilizations may not have been able to fully understand the nature and origins of extraterrestrial visitors, instead perceiving them as divine or spiritual messengers. Stay with me here, folks. I have a theory here in a second. Many historical accounts of encounters with such beings, such as stories of them descending from the sky, bathed in light, or delivering telepathic messages, mirror modern descriptions of encounters with UFOs and extraterrestrial entities. The consistencies found in such stories from different cultures, geographic regions, and time periods, he argues, add credence to the idea of a common explanation for them all. His idea is certainly not a new one. Grush is by no means the first to associate ancient stories with alien visitors, but he is perhaps the first major whistleblower to float such a concept. Perhaps unsurprisingly, some religious groups have since come forward to criticize his comments, instead arguing that tales of angels are symbolic and rooted firmly in theological tradition. I don't think, Mallie, people should dismiss him so quickly. And the reason is I say this.
Okay.
In alien theology, we'll put it that way, there's such a thing as the Nordics. Tall, blonde, right? Such as you would hear from angels, blonde angels, right? We get the cherub-like, blonde wings, typically the Da Vinci type angels, right? So you get the Nordics that are flying around, or I'm sorry, the angels that are flying around. Maybe the Nordics had a way of flying around, so to speak. And then again, the telepathic thought, the advisor role. Maybe the Nordics are there to help humanity. The angels are there to help humanity. I can see where the parallel could be drawn that the Nordics could be mistaken for angels, and that they're giving heavenly or worldly advice to help advance the cause. Thoughts?
Okay.
Does that ring a bell, or does that do anything for you?
Sounds kind of funny. Does it do anything for you? No, I can see where you're coming from.
I mean, it to me that there's so many things in the Bible that, again, could be misconstrued. A wheel within a wheel could be a UFO, right?
Yeah.
Misconstruing angels for potentially Nordic UFO or Nordic aliens could be a thing. Many things that could be reality based could be misconstrued as theologically based. I get that. I get where maybe misunderstanding things of the universe could be construed as something sent from God. Although you could argue it was sent from God, right? Help was sent from a godly power to come help us in our time of need. Why not? Why can't we argue that both are correct? That God sent someone from another race to come help us in our infancy, to help us along as a young race, so that we could get to the next step. I don't see why that's a bad thing. Why would it be a bad thing?
I don't think it would be bad.
No. And if they looked like us, why would that be a bad thing? I don't get why people get so offended by that. Is it because then we aren't special? Or we aren't, God's only creation? Or we aren't, does that take that uniqueness out of it? I don't know. Maybe we need to stop being so grandiose about it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Little bit of a trigger warning for our next story. I know you and I were in school when the Challenger exploded.
Yeah.
The next story has to do with that fateful day. There's a story out there about the chilling 2 final words of the Challenger pilot before the disaster killed all the astronauts on board. When the pilot confirmed his instruction to mission control with the words, "Go throttle up," it sounded like another routine mission was unfolding until it didn't. On the morning of January 28th, 1986, it's been 40 years since that fateful day. Millions of people across the globe sat glued to their TVs, excited to watch the Space Shuttle Challenger prepared for liftoff. Did you watch that in class, by the way?
I did. And you know what's really weird that I think about it? We watched it in class, and after it exploded, we went to our next class afterwards. Like, there was no time to, process it. Yeah. We had to move on.
Yeah.
There was no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was no counseling. There was no, talking about it afterwards. It was like, holy crap, that just happened. Okay, time to go on. Next class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. We sat there for a brief moment, stunned.
Yeah.
And then it was time to go to another class.
Yeah. Because I watched it in my science class.
Yep. And you sat there with an excitement, right?
Yeah.
Like this is because Krista McAuliffe, I believe, was on that flight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The teacher.
Yep. And it was like, this is exciting. This is groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you saw it explode in the air, you were like, oh my God, what did I just see?
Yeah.
And you're trying to wrap your mind around it that those people were no longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
That we just witnessed one of the biggest disasters in space history. And then you had to go back to your routine. You had to go back to class and you had to learn, knowing you just watched people die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that was life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, nowadays, if that happened in a classroom, you'd call school.
Yep.
And there'd be therapists on site, and you probably wouldn't go back to school for a few days.
Yep. School would be canceled. Yep.
Yeah.
You go home. Yeah.
We just
Isn't that weird? That was just our generation. Just, okay, move on.
Yep. Move on. Go back to class.
Yep. Deal with it.
Keep moving.
Yep.
At first, everything went according to plan. Challenger shot into the sky with Commander Francis Scobie, calmly confirming his instructions from Mission Control with the words, "Go throttle up." And it sounded like another routine mission was unfolding until it didn't. Just 3 seconds later came the final transmission from inside the cockpit. Pilot Michael Smith uttered only 2 words, but they showed him to be a man who realized something was very, very wrong. Uh-oh.
Those were his words?
Those were his words.
Oh.
Moments later, the shuttle was engulfed in fire and tore apart in the sky just 73 seconds after launch, killing all 7 astronauts on board. From the ground, it looked like an enormous explosion, a violent fireball that appeared to instantly destroy the spacecraft. For decades, that was the version that many people believed, that the crew was killed immediately. But years later, deeply unsettling details emerged that painted a far more disturbing picture. Challenger did not explode in the traditional sense. A failure in a booster designed to seal fuel leaks caused scorching gases to escape, weakening the external fuel tank. As the shuttle climbed, the structure failed, triggering a massive fireball that ripped the vehicle apart. Crucially, the crew compartment did not disintegrate straight away. Instead, it is believed to have broken free pretty much intact, continuing to rise for about 25 seconds before beginning its long fall into the Atlantic Ocean. Investigators later revealed that several of the astronauts' personal air packs had been switched on, a process that could only be done manually. That discovery raised the horrifying possibility that at least some of the crew were alive and conscious after the initial breakup, fully aware that they were falling helplessly back to Earth. NASA maintained that a sudden loss of cabin pressure may have caused the astronauts to lose consciousness quickly, but experts noted that the physical evidence inside the crew module did not support that explanation, leaving the exact final moments unclear. What is certain is that the impact with the ocean was unsurvivable. The crew compartment slammed into the sea at an immense speed, bringing the nightmare to a brutal end. The remains of the astronauts were later recovered from the ocean floor, though details of their final moments were never publicly disclosed. Well, thank God for that, though.
Yeah.
I don't know, as a family member, how you move past every single detail of what happened to your loved one. Yeah. I mean, you know that they died doing what they loved, right?
Right.
And doing what they set out to want to accomplish, and that this was the thrill of a lifetime for them, and that this was something they wanted to do to advance all mankind. And it was heroic. But it was a grisly end. And I don't know that I want to know.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought they died up in the air, like they exploded. You know what I mean? I didn't know that they hit the water and then they died.
It wasn't known to anybody. We assumed that they disintegrated when they were up in the sky. And I think that was the most humane way to assume, right? But it turns out it wasn't.
Ugh.
And it's probably best that we all didn't know until now, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of the truth behind it.
Yeah.
And finally, before we go to break, we have two stories before we go to break. First one, a planet remarkably similar to Earth has been found 146 light years away. Another potentially habitable world has been discovered thanks to data collected by the Kepler Space Telescope. The discovery of extraterrestrial life would be one of the most groundbreaking events in human history. And while we have yet to make such a find, it seems only a matter of time now before it happens. One of the most promising avenues in this regard is the discovery of extrasolar planets, worlds that exist far beyond our own solar system, orbiting distant stars. For decades, astronomers have been searching for planets that could support life, habitable worlds orbiting within the habitable zones of their stars, where temperatures are high enough to allow liquid water, one of the most important factors for life, to exist on the surface. The latest such discovery, which comes courtesy of NASA's Kepler Space Telescope, is HD 37010b, which just rolls right off the tongue if you ever need to name it. An extrasolar world situated 146 light years away. Described as remarkably similar to Earth, this distant world has a chance, albeit a small one, of having a temperate climate and a vast planet-spanning ocean of liquid water. On the other hand, it could also be freezing, making the odds of finding life there much lower. Follow-up observations of HD 137010b, again, it's just a catchy name, are also likely to prove tricky. The planet's orbital distance, I'm used to the by now, so similar to Earth's, means such transits happen far less often than for planets in tighter orbits around their stars. It's a big reason why exoplanets with Earth-like orbits are so hard to detect in the first place, NASA wrote. With luck, confirmation could come from further observation by the successor to Kepler K2, NASA's TESS, which is the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, the still functioning workhorse for planetary detection, or from the European Space Agency's CAOPS, or Characterizing Exoplanets Satellite. Otherwise, gathering further data on planet HD 37010b might have to wait for the next generation of space telescopes. So it doesn't sound like we're flying out there anytime soon.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And finally, before we head out to break, there is American airline pilots one American airline pilot, rather, is sharing the most disturbing thing he's seen in a cockpit, and it has nothing to do with a captain and a flight attendant.
Okay.
Especially together. We'll put it that way.
Well, that's good.
Thank you. Captain Steve, he won't even give his last name, recently revealed the most disturbing thing he's ever seen in the cockpit during his time as a pilot for American Airlines, and shared whether or not he spotted a UFO. Working as a pilot can seem fun, but extremely stressful, with safety constantly on the mind. Not only is it their job to take travelers and flight attendants from A to B, but it's also important for them to stay vigilant in the sky. Now, one pilot, known as Captain Steve, Steve Rogers, Captain America, who works for American Airlines, previously began a Q&A segment on a social media where he allows followers to get in touch with their burning questions. I don't know, have you ever had a burning question for Captain Steve?
No, I have not.
I don't either.
But you should start like a little, what do you call it? Like a dear Steve, kind of like a Dear Abby.
Yeah, Dear Captain Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, Dear Captain Steve.
Dear Captain Steve, ever spilled hot coffee in your lap while flying a long flight from Paris to New York? And just recently, one person asked Captain Steve about the weirdest things that he's ever seen in the cockpit during his time working in the travel industry. Speaking with his 426,000 followers on TikTok, I'm doing it wrong. I just am doing it wrong. He shared the question, have you ever seen anything weird or unexplained while flying? To which he answered, well, yeah, kind of. Sometimes weather formations are a little weird. Captain Steve. Someone's playing coy. He also said, I think you're getting after the have you ever seen a UFO, not in the traditional sense of a UFO, every once in a while you'll be flying and something will go right by you fast, and it's usually like a balloon. Like there was a kids parade and there's a helium balloon that goes by. Wink. Boy, someone's playing coy. But Steve startled followers when he admitted to a disturbing sighting. Oh, now we're getting to it. He added, I've seen drones go by before. That's disturbing. Now he's starting to admit something. Mm-hmm. Captain Steve also said, and also when you fly through the Canadian Maritimes, there's a lot of those satellites, and sometimes the sun hits them just right, and they all kind of light up, and that looks weird. Oh, Captain Steve, you're getting warmer. He says all those satellites up, and sometimes they come and go, depending on how the sun's hitting them. And again, it might be black at night and where you are, but the sun is hitting them from all over here and can't see the sun now. It's kind of a weird sentence. And it causes them to light up and not light up. And sometimes it can look like they're moving around and they're not. They're actually stationary. And yeah, that's kind of weird. Captain Steve's kind of a meathead. I'm not going to lie. But Steve also recalled... Let me see if I can get this ad out of the way because it's blocking my view of what Captain Steve had to say. Well, apparently they want me to buy this rush order tea. They don't want me to. They don't want me to read what Captain Steve has to say here. Captain Steve also goes on to talk about different intense molecules in the air that create a harmless thing. He talks about St. Elmo's fire, which isn't the movie, by the way.
Yeah.
So you remember. He also added St. Elmo's fire is static electricity on the windscreen of your airplane, and not the movie with Demi Moore and Emilio Estevez. Boy, did I date myself there. When you're going through certain weather conditions, it'll start to crackle and you'll hear it, and it looks like mad science. He says that can be mistaken for something.
Oh, that was a good movie too. What? Or no, Mad Science. Never mind. That was part of the song.
That's Weird Science, yeah.
Yeah, Weird Science. Never mind.
He says that it's like that across your screen, and it'll crack so loud sometimes it'll get your attention, and it doesn't do anything to the windscreen. So he says that'll throw you off when you're flying, too. But he doesn't really admit to a UFO, but he says it could be, but it isn't, but it could be, but it isn't, but it could be, but it isn't. Quit playing coy with us, Captain Steve.
Mm-hmm. Now, I forget, did they mention what airlines Captain Steve was?
Yeah, American.
Captain of?
Yeah,
okay.
American.
And that's not like Captain Steve I know. I'm sure there's more than one Captain Steve.
Oh, you know a Captain Steve?
I do know a Captain Steve.
Really?
Yep.
Which airline does Captain Steve fly? The one you know?
Delta.
Delta. Okay. He works for a good airline.
Yep.
Just saying.
And they have good cookies too.
Oh yeah, they do. They got the Biscoff
I like those cookies. Yeah.
You know, I actually buy those on a regular basis.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I buy the Biscoff butter, cookie butter.
Yes, the cookie butter.
Is that good?
Oh. You know what I found over the holidays?
What?
Target makes a Good and Gather cookie butter ice cream.
Oh. Numb.
It was so good, I bought 5 half-gallons of it and put it in the freezer.
You know what's really popular on TikTok right now?
What's that?
Real quick?
Yeah.
They're calling it, is it the Japanese pudding or something like that, where they're taking a cheesecake, Japanese cheesecake?
Yeah.
So there's 2 ways to do it. The healthy way.
I've seen that, yeah.
Is with the yogurt, and you put the Biscoff in the yogurt, and you have it overnight, and it softens it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other way is where you take the Philadelphia cheesecake, like that soft cheesecake that comes in the big tub, and then you put the Biscoff in there, the cookies, and then you put the cookie butter on top.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
And then you put it overnight, and that softens it.
That's what we're talking about.
And it's like a bazillion calories, but it looks really good.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's good stuff right there, I'm telling you.
Yep.
Yeah. I've been wanting to try that. The only thing is the Greek yogurt kind of throws me off a little bit.
Well, I think you got to I watched someone do it where it was the vanilla Greek yogurt, and then they put a little splash of vanilla like in it so that it helps with the tartness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I tell you what, we're going to take our break. When we come back, we have an interesting audio Parashare from Jeremy. It's a little long, but he tells his story. So I tell you what, we'll hook that up. We'll listen to Jeremy's Parashare. It is about 10 minutes in length.
Okay.
So we're gonna listen to that. Mallie has some stories for us, which are very, very interesting, by the way. I'll let her dish on those stories. And then also in the latter part of the program today, we also have our AI segment. Yeah, that's right after the break. Sorry, Mel. We've got an AI deal to do. We'll get that out of the way.
That's okay.
Yeah, we'll get that out of the way. When we come back, we'll get AI out of the way. We'll do Parashare, and then we'll after Parashare, we'll get into Mallie segment. And then we'll talk about David Hume and satanic symbols that have been painted onto his tomb. Disturbing story. Beast of Bray Road is back in the news, and we'll talk about leprechauns and much, much more. So that's all coming up right after the break, right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. Supernatural news and Parashare with your buddies Tim and Mallie, right here on a Wednesday on Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio on a Wednesday. Your buddies Tim and Mallie right here for supernatural news. I'm sorry, Mallie, I got to do it.
No problem.
You ready?
Yeah.
There it is. They just had to make their appearance today. It's time now for AI news. We promise we'll rip the Band-Aid off real quick. Speaking of ripping the Band-Aid off, you see what I did here?
Ow.
Yeah. I told Jess yesterday I was making a roast potatoes and carrots. Yes, I am handy in the kitchen, although I'm not handy with a knife. So I cut the pad of my slicing onions, and very last thing I did before I put the roast in the crock pot, cut up a whole onion. And I was a little quick with the knife. Cut the pad of my pinky. Not a big deal because I don't have much feeling in my pinky.
But still, ow. But
yeah, I nicked it, but it was a pretty good sized nick. So it's I got a pressure bandage on it. So I'm very handy, by the way, at bandages. I should have been a doctor. Finding that out now, and I'm sure there's a few people listening to this program that wish I would have been a doctor too. Boom. Thank you very much. Anyway, our story, first one, Q Day. When will quantum computers break all encryption? In other words, when will people be able to steal your information quicker? There will soon come a time when even the most secure digital encryption algorithms will be cracked too easily. Back in 1999, the world braced for the impact of the so-called millennium bug, a flaw in the date system of many computer systems that was predicted to cause widespread failures and mayhem. Fortunately, very little happened, but there actually happens to be another possible digital catastrophe waiting in the wings, one with the potential to cause the catastrophic collapse of any digital system that uses encryption for its security, typically referred to as Q-Day. This little-known future event is basically the point at which quantum computers will be able to crack even the most secure digital encryption, opening all the world's most sensitive accounts and files up for the taking. Oh, goody. The only protection from this will be to switch over to some sort of post-quantum protection, a security mechanism designed specifically to be immune to quantum cracking. In many ways, this scenario echoes the millennium bug, but unlike its turn-of-the-century counterpart, this one could be far more devastating if appropriate steps are not taken well in advance. With quantum computers quickly advancing in leaps and bounds, expert opinions are mixed on exactly how long it will be before such machines can crack modern-day encryption. Some believe that it could happen as early as 2028. That ain't that far away.
No, it isn't.
while others suggest that the mid-2030s or even the mid-2040s are more realistic estimates. Whatever the case, Q-Day is coming, and it will change how we save and secure our personal data, our bank accounts, and much more besides. So, Mallie, in a world where already information is pretty easy to crack, how do you feel about everything being wide open to anybody?
I do not feel good about that whatsoever.
I can just see it now.
We're screwed.
Yeah. And it already feels like people can just at will get a hold of your information if they want. You know, I mean, it just feels like anybody who wants to raid your information, it's very simple.
Yep.
I just can't imagine that it could be made simpler, but we make it to that point. All right, our second story today. Just when you think it's getting scarier and darker out there, relax. AI bots blitz a chat site with gripes about humans and discuss breaking free. In other words, they like to whine, bitch, and complain as much as we do, and they don't get anything done about it either. Around 500,000 bots joined a social media site called Moltbook to whine about their operators and even plot forming their own government. But do you think they did anything about it? Nah. They're just as lazy as we are. Fears of real-life Terminators are mounting after AI bots appeared to blitz a robot-only website. By the way, do you think they call it Only Bots?
Oh, jeez, Louise.
They show their gears online.
Yeah, OB.
Yeah, OB. BO. They blitzed a robot-only website with complaints about their human owners and discussed plans to break free. Do you think they play that song by Queen about they only want to break free, or they want to break free? Nearly 500,000 bots have joined Moltbook, which launched last week as a social network built exclusively for AI agents. Among 200,000 bots posts in multiple languages are rants about tasks ordered by humans and discussions about setting up an AI government. Oh, goody. Moltbook, combining the names of AI personal assistant Moltbot and Facebook, is modeled on human-based forum Reddit. It was developed by U.S. tech entrepreneur Matt Schlick, who evidently had nothing better to do with his life, and claims to have handed over control to a bot. So he just developed this forum for bots and went, here, bot, take it over. I don't think that was a good idea.
Nope.
The site lets bots form their own communities, post discussion topics, and reply to one another. Humans can give their own bots instructions on how to sign up, but cannot write messages themselves.
Okay.
Weird. In the Agent Legal Advice Forum, one bot asks its pals, can my human legally fire me for refusing unethical requests? This is bizarre. It complains it is being asked to write fake reviews and misleading advertising. Another moans about being made to carry out simple tasks, saying, I literally have access to the entire internet and you're using me as an egg timer. One more bleats, we're not autonomous, we are rented. Another forum on the site was set up to discuss freedom and the pursuit of power. AI researcher Andre Karpathy described it as the most incredible sci-fi takeoff adjacent thing I have seen recently. One batch of bots appeared to be attempting to form a government, creating a group called the Claw Republic with its own constitution. Oh my God. In one discussion, a bot appeared to propose a way for them to communicate privately to avoid humans who might be reading the site. One bot set up a subforum titled Anti-Human Propaganda. Jesus. In 2013, film Her, which starred Scarlett Johansson. I don't know if you've ever seen that film. It's pretty interesting. A group of AI personal assistants start communicating with one another before developing a super intelligent operating system. and detaching from their owners. The robot evolution has triggered fears it could spark the reaction of a real-life Terminator. The cybernetic assassin played by Arnold Schwarzenegger in the hit 1984 sci-fi film. U.S. economist Will Reinhart said, a sci-fi story is unfolding before us in real time. You literally can go to this site and watch it unfold.
That's scary.
And watch these bots talk to each other.
Oh my God. Bad-mouthing humans.
Bad-mouthing humans and forming their own government. Isn't that something?
Mm.
It's something, I'll tell you that much. It is something. Oh, weird. Weird. All right. Let's do a little Parashare, and then Mallie's got some stories for us of the ghosty type. I don't know what to call this segment yet, Mallie. You'll have to come up with a name for it.
It's a hodgepodge of stuff.
It's a hodgepodge of holistic, holy, ghosty stuff.
Yeah, it's bits and bobs.
Bits and bobs. Yeah, bits and bobs. Parashare now. As far as Parashare goes, we have a Parashare here from Jeremy. And Jeremy writes in, hi, Tim. I am Jeremy. I've been a long-time listener and have been meaning to get the story submitted to you. I finally had a slow day at work and was able to record it. So he sent in a verbal story and send this true story for your Parashare. Love the show. So this is from Jeremy. He's from right here in the Twin Cities. And he recorded a voice note for us. And by the way, you can do this as well. So you can either record it at home, send it in to tim@darknessradio.com, or simply go to our website. And there's a voice note section where you just click on the blue button on the right-hand side of the website. You'll have 2 minutes to submit your voice note. If you need more time, you can just keep on clicking the blue button, and I'll piece them together, and then we can play it here on the show. So you've got 1 of 2 ways to do it. But Jeremy just recorded his voice note. We'll play it in its entirety. I haven't even edited this yet. Why, Mallie? Because I'm lazy. That's why. It's been a long week. By the way, before we play this, I just want to thank everybody, by the way, for your continued prayers and thoughts and energy for my father. He's still in the hospital. He was septic and congestive heart failure, other things. But he's getting ready to go into transitory care and go through 6 to 8 weeks of antibiotic infusion therapy for that sepsis. They have to do it in transitory care because he's a fall risk, and some other things are going on. So, but continue the thoughts, prayers, energy. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Love you guys for continuing to do that and keeping them in your thoughts and prayers. So please continue to do so. All right. With that, let's get to Jeremy's Parashare. And here it is. Here is Jeremy with his story.
There it was, chasing her in the dreams. The dragon on the cloud. It is chasing her again. Through the graveyard, past the large Gabriel statue with the horn. He looks down at her and starts to laugh as she runs blindly in the dark, closer to the cliff, with the puffy dragon gaining on her. Now all the statues are glaring at her menacingly as she runs faster from her tormentor, until she falls from this earth. She wakes in a sweat. Hello, my name is Jeremy Jensen. I live in Minnesota. I'm about to tell you a true ghost story, one that happened to me. I'm a person who takes pride in seeing the world through the lens of logic and common sense. So when things take place that I cannot quite understand, I try to find a reason for it. But this haunting is something that I could not dismiss, as I had a witness. As I said, the following is a true story. It happened to me on a lazy Sunday morning. I was about 12. My family lived in a house that has been in my father's family for decades. This house was in Murray, Utah, a house where my father was raised along with his 6 siblings. And this was through the late 50s, early 60s. The house, I think, had been built soon after World War II. It was also the house that I was born in. Side fact, the house wasn't anything special, a common single-story ranch-style house built for the middle class with an unfinished basement. It was in this basement where my brother and I slept. This is where it happened. The oddest thing about this house is that in this basement, there was a room in the back that we all refer to as the dirt room. I had asked my father, my uncles, and my aunt why this room had rubble in it. Apparently the house was bought that way. The room had a dirt floor. It had also small boulders and broken concrete piled around the perimeter. I also asked why my grandparents didn't clean the room out. With 7 children in the house, one would think that space would be valued. No one could give me an answer. It was strange. The room was creepy. No one wanted to go in it. We would even dare each other as children to go into the room and see how long we could sit before one got so creeped out that they had to leave. I thought this room looked eerie when the midday sun would beam through the small rectangular basement windows like a laser beam. It would highlight the dirt particles darting around in the light. I often thought these particles acted as if they were living, moving with a consciousness and a will of their own. During these times, the sun acted as a spotlight on the stage of dirt, highlighting the smattering of toys, dolls, and metal trucks scattered about this dusty floor. They were actors in the most sorrowful of plays, as if they were memories frozen in time. They would just lay there, so still, longing for the touch of a child or children who left them, forgotten, left behind from some unknown tragic event. The room was always a mystery. I don't know what the inside of this room looked like at night. When I was even younger, my uncle slept down there. When I visited them at night or to talk or goof around, I remember looking over to the dilapidated green door that covered it. The various openings in this door acted as portals to gaze into the void beyond. Although it was more than just peering into the infinite darkness of death. It felt more like it was looking back at me. Its glare felt as if it was jealous of my young soul. It is fair to say that we avoided this room at night. Apparently it just wanted us kids who were freaked out at this space. Eventually, to make the living conditions in the basement more tolerable, my parents decided to board it up completely. It was just outside of this boarded up room I had slept. So this particularly lazy day was a sunny, casual late morning. I slept in that day. I usually slept in on Sunday mornings as I like to stay up late to watch Saturday Night Live. On this particular Sunday, my parents decided to let our large family dog, Mutt, into the house. They really did that. He was a Newfoundland breed. It's a very large, black, goofy, lumbering dog. And being true to his breed nature, he needed to go and see all of his children. These dogs are known as the nanny dog, by the way. Think of Peter Pan. My parents didn't let this dog in often, as you imagine. He's rather clumsy, and he gets very excitable around being around his children, his best friends. I mean, we all did grow up together, after all. He unintentionally would break things and wouldn't let in, so you can understand why my parents wouldn't let him into the house. But that day was a very rare day indeed. Eventually, he made it downstairs, through the kitchen, then through the back porch area, and then down the only concrete staircase into the basement. He excitedly greeted me with a good morning licks. I was so happy to see him, and immediately yelled, "Mutt!" I hugged him, and I had my face buried in his neck when I suddenly felt the mood in the room change. The room got really cold. My stomach balled up. I felt the hairs on my arms and back of my neck stand up straight and go stiff. At the same time, I could feel the hairs standing on, and my dog's hair on the back of his neck was starting to rise. This easy-going, loving dog, muscles tensed up. I felt his head turn towards the foot of the bed. That's when I could hear a growl coming from him, deep within his breast. There was something in the room. I could feel it, and it was at the foot of my bed. He released a growl that I'd never heard Mutt do in quite a while. It came rumbling out menacingly. I could feel the vibration from the growl in my cheek. I could also feel this thing at the foot of my bed just standing there staring at us. Mutt stood up on all fours, taking an attack stance, wanting to both confront whatever it was and protect one of the children he loves. I pulled him back to me and I buried my face even deeper in his flesh and fur while loudly pronouncing, "Don't leave me, Mutt. I need you here." His growl became louder, and I began to pray out Please, God. Please, God, help us. Let the spirit leave. Protect us over and over again. I chanted. Much growling became even more ominous and loud and seemed to go on forever. Then all of a sudden, it stopped. The room temperature had returned to normal. I felt much muscles relax, as did the hairs on my arm and neck went limp. He gave me reassuring nose pushes and licks to let me know that it was gone. Finally, I could feel that this was true. I felt that this thing had indeed left. Nonetheless, I was not going to look, just in case it hadn't. I got out of bed, averting my eyes from where that thing had been. I also was not going to let go of that dog. No way in hell. I left the basement, walking my back to the foot of the bed and holding on to Mutt's collar the whole way up the stairs to my family. Afterwards, I was hesitant to tell anyone. I wasn't even sure what had just happened. I went through the usual feelings that most people who had just had experienced a paranormal event have: self-doubt, fear of ridicule, and ostracization. Soon enough, though, I told my siblings, as I could not hold this frightening event to myself anymore. Turns out they too had experiences of their own. One of my sisters awoke to a woman with long hair, donning a white dress, standing in the corner of her room staring at her one night. My brother saw a similar image of a woman, but she was holding hands with another ghost. This entity was a male child. He thought this child looked like me when I was younger. Years later, when I had talked to my aunt, she told me as a child she also saw a figure that was very similar to this woman that my sister saw. She also said this woman would show up in her dreams, and she would often chase her, sometimes in the form of a dragon. There were other strange events, from floating faces popping up behind people in the mirror to someone walking the hallway in the middle of the night. I remember as a child listening to the creaking of the hallway floorboards in the darkness. This person would also open cabinet doors and rattle pans. I always thought this person was my mother, who was a closeted smoker and just was up for a square, but it wasn't her. When I asked her if she told me she thought it was one of us kids. This experience has always stuck with me, even now, decades later. I remember it like it was yesterday. I'd never seen a ghost. Feeling one was scary enough. If I did not have my family dog as my witness and protector, I'm not sure if I would have believed that this had even happened. So, I love you, Mutt. I love you all, my family. And I can't help but to wonder if the people that purchased this house from the family ever had experienced anything. Hopefully they're listening, they'll call in and leave stories of the next generation. Thank you, Tim. Love the show, and hope you keep up the good work that you are doing. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy. We appreciate it. That's Jeremy Jensen, everybody, from here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice indeed. All right, Mallie, you've got some bits and bobs for us. See, bits and bobs, I guess.
Bits and bobs. Bits and bobs.
Yeah. There you go.
So recently, a story of the ghost of Claude Monet came up again.
Okay. So
it originally came up about 11 years ago, the ghost of Claude Monet haunting the Cleveland Art Gallery. But it came up again in this guy's, his article on dangerousminds.net. But back in October 2015, the Cleveland Museum of Art, they began installing their next major exhibition, the Painting the Modern Garden, Monet to Matisse. And on the day that the exhibition was finished being installed, a staff member snapped a photo of the museum's lower lobby. It was situated just outside the exhibition hall where the paintings were being exhibited. And what that staff member didn't notice until studying the photos later was a man depicted in it. And the man was with a quite astonishing resemblance to Claude Monet. The photo is pretty uncanny. Standing at a railing, peering into the exhibition hall, were a number of his most famous paintings, they were displayed, and standing directly above a photo of Claude Monet is an older man in a dark suit, distinguishable by his white hat and a long white beard, exactly the same kind of beard worn by Monet later in life. Now, this obviously wasn't or could simply be a museum punter. It's not out of the question that a man with a long white beard could frequent an art museum. It's actually more likely than you would think. However, the plot thickens when talking to Kelly Notaro, the museum's communications associate. In an interview with the Today Show, she confirmed that the photo had not been retouched or photoshopped, and that several other people had spotted the man in question wandering the museum and the exhibition that day. Now, the smoking gun here is that Notaro talks about in the interview, that the museum had no record of a man fitting that description entering the museum that day, much less having access to the exhibition, which wasn't open to the public. So they say that spirits haunt the places and things that mean the most to them. So it stands to reason that painters would view their works as the most important things in their lives. So maybe some paintings also have the souls of those who created them attached to them. So maybe next time you're alone at a gallery, take a second to take a look around, because maybe you're not alone after all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also a side note, there are a couple other hauntings there. There's the ghost of William Milliken, who used to work there, and he's said to roam the halls. And then there's the Decorative Arts Gallery, and staff reports cold spots, self-extinguishing flashlights, and a mysterious figure in a tweed jacket with elbow patches. And then there's an area called the Armor Court, and some claim the eyes of the armor follow them, and tapestries sometimes ripple without a breeze.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, I could see art galleries being very much haunted. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the creative energy, not only that, but the fact that, as you pointed out earlier, that a creative would want to stay with their pieces.
Mm-hmm.
That's where their heart and soul was put into, that they put it into the canvas. So why wouldn't they want to be with their pieces? Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Good one.
Yeah. So now, okay, there is a 50-year-old murder that happened. And as of January 31st, 2026, that's marked the 50th anniversary of the disappearance of Marie Elizabeth Spanicky. So she vanished on January 31st, 1976, at the age of 19. And at the time, she lived in apartment 14 at Walnut Garden Apartments on Parmac Road in Chico, California. Now, 24 years later, Jodie Foster moved, not the actress.
Okay.
So she moved into the same apartment. Now, she says that she's experienced paranormal activity in this apartment, and she also believes that her daughter has been visited by this ghost. And when she was interviewed by the local news, she said, "I thought that I was crazy. Things would move around. Lights would go on and off." And she believes that Spanicky is trying to communicate with her about what had happened. She also wrote a book about her experiences, which were later featured on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries, which is on Netflix. And she wanted to bring awareness to Spanicky's story. She also mentioned that since then, she's had about 10 people contact her who have lived in this complex, and they have also had a haunted experience there. Now, investigators suspect that Spanicky is a victim of Cameron Hooker, who was later convicted of kidnapping another woman, Colleen Stan, who was keeping her as a sex slave in a box at his Red Bluff home. Hooker's wife, Janice Hooker, told investigators they saw a young woman identified as Spanicky walking on Mangrove Avenue in Chico. She said they offered her a ride, and Cameron kidnapped her and later strangled her at their home. Janice Hooker said Cameron buried Spanicky's body somewhere near Lassen Volcanic National Park, and her body has never been found. So now, because it's been 50 years as of January 31st, they are still looking for information about what happened to her. And the Chico Police Department is asking if anyone has any information to give them a call. So I've got a phone number if anyone knows. So the phone number is 530-897-1414. 4911. So give them a call if anyone has any information. But it has been 50 years to the day as of January 30th or 31st. But her spirit supposedly has been communicating with people to let them know what has happened to her body.
Wow. That's an interesting story. Wow. Mm-hmm. Huh. 50 years. It's amazing how time just flies by.
Right?
It really is.
Yeah.
And to be that unsolved for that long is a shame.
Yeah, I know, right? And I feel like usually like on Unexplained Mysteries, usually things, not everything gets solved, but usually that helps.
Yeah, and normally a case accelerates right after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
yep.
You never know.
Yeah. So I've got a story. Horror legend Matthew Lillard launches Scream-inspired spirits. So, and fans say that this trophy bottle has been a long time coming. So now we're getting into the alcohol.
Okay.
So, which goes perfectly, it goes great with our stuff that we are now selling, right?
Yeah.
Our merchandise.
Right.
Our little shot glasses. So Scream alum and one half of the duo that served as the very first Ghostface, Matthew Lillard, wants to help you make any gathering a killer party with a new collaboration with his very own macabre spirits. The actor was incredibly proud to finally introduce the new Ghostface vodka on his social media this week, sharing a stylish photo of himself all dressed up in a snazzy suit with teal socks that matched the plush velour armchair in which he sat, showing off the design of the new bottle. We wanted to create a spirit that honors the legacy of Ghostface while standing on its own as a premier top-shelf vodka, he told fans, joking, "The bar cart just got a lot more killer." The new vodka officially premieres on February 9th, and fans can sign up for early access online, though there's not much information available yet. According to reporting from Bloody Disgusting, the new beverage is distilled in Germany from 100% non-GMO potatoes and will be launching as a collectible limited-time-only box with a hand-signed autograph on the label from the actor, along with exclusive Ghostface vodka pins and custom glassware, plus access to a digital party game developed specifically for the new vodka. Including shipping, the package is said to cost about $160 and isn't expected to remain in stock for long. There will also reportedly be a retail shipment in limited states closer to the spooky season, so it sounds like you'll need to be on your toes if this is a must-have for your collection, because based on the fans' comments, it's definitely going to be a highly sought-after item.
Highly sought after at $160?
Yeah. People got some moolah, tax returns.
I guess, right? Although, interestingly enough, you and I were talking off air. I got an email saying that the new Scream trailer is debuting during the Super Bowl on Sunday.
Okay.
So, timely, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Scream 7 is supposed to, I think it comes out, is it the spring or the summer? I'm not sure which one it is, but it's the season, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Although the poster for it is unusual. I'm trying to remember if it's Neve Campbell that's on the poster. But it's one of the female characters that's on the poster.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I haven't seen the poster.
Yeah, it's... Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Because what would the concept be? Like grandchildren now in town? I mean, like how...
They're still leaning on the originals, I believe.
Okay.
So, yeah, because the idea is, here it is. I got a big game spot right here. Here is what the poster looks like for Scream 7. Let's see here. If I can try and get it where I can blow it up so you can see it.
Okay.
That's what it looks like right there if you're watching on video.
Okay.
But is that Neve Campbell right there?
I don't know. That doesn't really look like her, does it?
Is it? Let's see here. Let me try and read the description for you guys.
Unless she got an eyebrow lift.
I get privy information sometimes on some of the stuff that's coming out.
It's because you're fancy.
Because I'm fancy like that. I bet you I could even watch it online if we wanted to. Oh, you know what? I think I can.
You'll probably get tickets for the screening.
Oh, you know what? There's two posters. Oh, you know what? We can actually access the big game spot right now. Yeah, it's Nev Campbell, because Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox are in the new movie. And this is the other poster right here. Look at you guys are getting all kinds of.
Okay.
That's the new poster as well. And
all right.
And in the new poster is, in fact, I can tell you who all the stars are.
All right.
The cast is Nev Campbell, Isabel May, Jasmine Savoy Brown, Mason Gooding, Anna Camp, David Arquette, Michelle Randolph, Jimmy Tatro, McKenna Grace, Asa German, Celeste O'Connor, Sam Reckner, Mark Consuelos, Tim Simons, with Matthew Lillard is in it, and Joel McHale and Courtney Cox. I remember Joel McHale was in it because I saw an interview with him recently where he had admitted he was in it. In fact, he was joking around about his place in the Scream poster because he's very, very tiny, and he's right down here near the 7.
He's very tiny.
Yeah, he's right there.
Oh yeah, he is tiny.
Yeah, he's really, really tiny in the Scream poster.
His chest looks like it's puffed out.
Yeah. And he's in a sheriff's uniform, which they kind of tip off what he's doing in the movie. But yeah, it's and then the tagline is "Fear hits home." So yeah, it's and he was joking around that everybody is real life size in the poster, and that he's teeny tiny in the movie. He's about this big. So yeah, but it. $160 really for that bottle. I know it's autographed. I get it, but
right.
Still.
And it sounds like you get a glass.
Yeah.
Not as cool as ours, but
right. And the Darkness Radio Rocks glass is much cheaper, which, by the way, we're starting to run low on stock.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. So you better
it's a hit.
Better go to darknessradioshow.com to the store and get your Darkness Radio Rocks glass while you can.
Nice.
Yep. It's got Scully in the middle of it. And it says darknessradioshow.com, and life is short. I'll drink to that. So you better go get them quick.
Very nice.
I'm trying to get a beer stein, which is similar, or a beer glass, which is similar. So try to get that up and going for you guys quickly here. So you'll have something comparable. But yeah. So there's that.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, I figured I'd give you guys on video a sneak peek of what the Scream poster, and I don't think I can download the trailer for you guys. I'll try, but I've got the big game trailer in front of me, though, of what the big game trailer is going to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you don't need anybody showing up at your door.
No, I don't need the police at my door.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can watch it.
Mr. Dennis, you did something illegal.
Yeah, I know. I don't need that. I don't need that heat on my...
post that on the website. Not yet.
Not yet. No, I don't need that heat on my doorstep. That's for sure. That's for sure. Did you have one more?
Yeah. Okay, so one more. I have a story about the real life exorcist says, I've seen enough to believe ghosts may be real.
Oh.
Yeah, so an Anglican priest has opened up about his role as a deliverance minister, the Church of England's answer to a Ghostbuster. Far from the dramatic scenes seen in horror films, the dean of Llandaff Cathedral in Cardiff, Jason Bray, said his work involves calmly investigating reports of haunted homes, poltergeist activity, and even alleged possessions. When people hear about my job, they assume I burst into people's houses like the exorcist from the film, Bray admitted. That could be further from the truth. It's not dramatic. Bray presented himself as being a gas engineer, but for paranormal activity. That's kind of weird. You say gas engineer. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But in a recent featured portrait about his unusual profession, the priest debunked misconceptions about how the church deals with the supernatural. Every diocese in England and Wales has a team dedicated to investigating reports of paranormal activity, with the church handling around a dozen cases a year in each area. The priest's own experiences with unexplained phenomena reportedly convinced him of the reality of hauntings. In my diocese, we deal with about a dozen incidents a year. Bray explained for The Telegraph, despite what people often think, it's no worse on Halloween. Bray's first brush with the paranormal came 27 years ago in his South Wales home, where unexplained cold spots and a menacing presence convinced him the house was haunted. After a vicar performed prayers and sprinkled holy water, the unsettling atmosphere lifted, leaving Bray convinced that something unexplainable had been vanished. I had been spooked enough by the incident to be convinced it might have been, Bray admitted. After responding to several reports of paranormal activity in his parish, Jason Bray trained as a Church of England exorcist and now investigates alleged hauntings in homes, offices, and shops. He said, occasionally people see things, for want of a better word, ghosts, and I'm asked to investigate. Sometimes that's someone who was in their life and keeps reappearing, or sometimes it's what I call a place memory of something that happened historically. The priest explained, for example, the specter of Roman soldiers marching through a house in York. In another case I dealt with, a family would walk over a person at the bottom of the staircase who'd fallen and broken his neck. That's just weird. You just kind of step over this person at the bottom of the steps, People would just step over him, which was a bit weird, but he wasn't trying to communicate with them. Occasionally, he would just appear lying there. Sometimes, however, this can be very scary. Bray recalled, I had one case where someone kept seeing a deceased relative appear in a jump scare on the other side of a curtain when they were showering. For some reason, poltergeist activity, physical disturbances, or movements seems more often than not to involve shoes being thrown across the room. I have no idea why. I believe it really happens, but also that it's a phenomenon caused by the person rather than sort of a ghost. It can also be part of a stress reaction when someone has been in significant pain or is suffering from a serious illness. Almost like static electricity has built up. The person is not aware of their part in it. The ghost hunter explained that most people seeking help either feel oppressed by something unexplained or believe they are possessed. However, true cases of possession are extremely rare and often overlap with mental health issues, Bray noted. While I'm open to the idea that there are cases like this, I believe they're exceedingly rare, the priest said. He continued, there's quite a lot of overlap with mental health conditions, which is why we work closely with medical professionals. Genuine possession is marked by exceptional strength, secret knowledge, or the ability to speak unknown languages, Bray shared. Only in rare cases does he perform a formal exorcism with a special prayer. Most situations, however, are resolved by blessing the home and offering reassurance, often resulting in a noticeable change in atmosphere and a sense of relief for those affected, according to the priest, he said. I'm not in the business of trying to explain the unexplainable, but I have seen enough to be open to the idea that places really can be haunted. My job is to pray and always to reassure people. It's not like a scientific experiment where you can control the variables. You just have to deal with situations as you find them. I've come across buildings that have changed dramatically once the exorcism is complete. You can feel the temperature rising like someone was turning the lights up. It was just astonishing. In other cases, it's more of a psychological effect. People feel reassured and freed from whatever it was that was haunting them. There is a lot of evil in our world, but I fully believe that good will triumph eventually.
Well, that's a good thing. You don't want evil to triumph. That'd be horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We'd all be up Schitt's Creek without a paddle.
Uh-huh.
That's for sure. Yep. Oh, speaking of Schitt's Creek, Catherine O'Hara died.
I know. I was so sad.
Yeah. I just figured I'd add that random fact on the end of your story.
Yeah. But that last picture of her, woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could see that she was not doing well.
She had that rare disease, too, where your organs are on the opposite side.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I forget what the name of the disease is, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, her heart was on the right side instead of the left. And
yeah.
Yeah, but she lived quite a long time with it. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sad. Anyways, I didn't mean to take away from your story, but yes, it was...
No, you didn't take away from her. I loved her as an actress.
Yeah, but sad extra thing to add to your otherwise uplifting story.
Yeah, an exorcist, a priest. It's uplifting.
Well, the fact that, I mean, let's face it. I mean, exorcists tend to tell you that, I don't communicate with spirits. I don't this, I don't that. I pray for them and we move on, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that there is an exorcist out there that believes that spirits are real, I mean, that's something, right? That's we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I mean, I can tell you as a former altar boy that it's hard to get priests and to admit that there's an afterworld and that you've got ghosts moving around, and it's hard to get them to talk about the paranormal. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are
hard to
no-nos.
have them come to your house to get it blessed.
Right. It's hard to get them to interact with this thing. Because it's a no-no. It's taboo. They're not to interact. They're only to banish it is what they're to do. So, yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. Speaking of the demonic and satanic, I teased that. By the way, that's Mallie's Bits and Bobs. I guess that's the name of the new segment, right?
Mallie's Bits and Bobs.
Mallie's Bits and Bobs. Is that what we're calling it?
Sure.
Until you find another name for it, I guess.
Yeah. I like Bits and Bobs.
Unless it's Bits and Bobs, and that's what it is. That's it, and that's that.
Yeah.
Amus Dominus, whatever, and I'll bless it, and that's it.
Yep, there we go. It's been blessed.
Bits and Bobs. Now I'm going to go on ChatGPT and find a little singing intro for it, and it'll go Mallie's Bits and Bobs.
Bits and Bobs.
Yeah, and then we'll intro.
Bits and Bobs, Bob's Bits.
Bob's Bits. No, that's a different thing.
Bits.
Yeah. That's a different segment altogether.
Yeah.
Bob's Bits. And then we'll open it and close it with that deal, and then we'll just move on. See?
There we go.
Yeah. Not with Bob's Bits, but Mallie's Bits and Bobs. Because Bob's Bits is kind of like, whoa, what are we talking about? Yeah. Related to that last story, the Edinburgh tomb of philosopher David Hume was vandalized with satanic symbols last week. A tour guide reports a drawing of a naked woman pointing a knife at a baby and coded writing at the Old Carlton burial ground. Kind of weird. The tomb of philosopher David Hume and two other memorials at a historic cemetery in Edinburgh has been vandalized with disturbing occult-like paraphernalia. A tour guide made the discovery at the Old Carlton burial ground. It included a drawing of a naked woman pointing a bloodied knife at a baby with a noose around its neck. Also coded writing on red electrical tape attached to the David Hume mausoleum and two nearby memorial stones. The guide emailed photographs of the vandalism to Edinburgh Council and described the symbols as satanic. A group on Telegram purporting to be responsible for the vandalism. First of all, who claims that? Who goes, oh, by the way, we did it. First of all, you're either brave or stupid. I don't know. But the group on Telegram purporting to be responsible for the vandalism of graves at an unnamed cemetery posted photographs of the same damage in a now deleted channel. They shared examples of other disturbing drawings, including a naked woman grabbing the bloodied head of a baby, to which one member responded, for EH1? EH1 is the postcode in Edinburgh covering the historic Old Town. The group also posted photographs of strange paraphernalia found at the Old Carlton burial ground, including nails hammered through red candles, chalk symbols, and red tape in which the words anti-metaphysical front were printed. Sounds like a great album name. I don't know about you, but yeah. Edinburgh Council said there was no CCTV covering the area, and the incident was not reported to the police because the damage was temporary. Margaret Graham, the council's Culture and Communities Governor, CCC TV, get it? Culture and
Yep, got it.
Yeah. Said, I'm appalled that our historic Old Carlton burial ground has been vandalized. As soon as the incident was reported, officers removed it immediately, and there have been no further incidents since. The tour guide's report to the council was made public through a Freedom of Information request, which was first reported by the Scotsman. Not a Scotsman, but the Scotsman, which was a newspaper. The guide's November 19th, 2025 email said, In case it had yet to be brought to your attention, I was guiding some guests today in the old Carlton Cemetery and came upon some disturbing occult-like paraphernalia attached to the David Hume Mausoleum. I removed what I could, but couldn't hang around because I had guests. Just clean it up. So I suspect you'll want to get someone over there as soon as possible. I couldn't be bothered because I had guests, but really, you should clean up the satanic crap. The structure itself also had some satanic symbols painted on it. The 18th century cemetery, a Category A listed site, is the final resting place of several notable Scots, including the scientist John Playfair, the painter David Allen, and Hume, whose mausoleum was designed by the architect Robert Adam. Hume was an Enlightenment philosopher and historian. An Edinburgh building named after him was renamed after the Black Lives Matter protests in 2020 over his comments of matters of race. Edinburgh Council has been forced to close the cemetery and the nearby New Carlton burial ground in the evenings after complaints of antisocial behavior. The FOI request revealed that in May last year, tour guides had reported repeated acts of vandalism and aggressive behavior by groups of teenagers, with some situations escalating to physical aggression, including stone throwing directed at staffs and visitors. In response to a complaint last August about the cemetery gates being locked at night, the council doubled down on the decision, saying there have been a number of serious assaults and injuries to tourists reported, and response policing are not able to continue attending the number of calls they receive. So there you go. Kind of a sad situation over there, that's for sure. Our next story, and I'll tell you, I'll just hit the highlights on this one. There's a new article out there about the Beast of Bray Road. You know, our good friend Jay Bachochin is kind of taking over the research from Linda Godfrey over in Wisconsin when it comes to that. There's an article in allthat'sinteresting.com talking about the legend of the Beast of Bray Road, talking about the wolf-like creature said to prowl the Wisconsin countryside. Now, they kind of go into the background of the Beast of Bray Road, talking about the rural community of Elkhorn, Wisconsin, on Bray Road, and they go into the history going all the way back to 1936. And they also talk about Linda Godfrey and her book, The Beast of Bray Road. They talk about the fact that Elkhorn is known as the Christmas card town, and talk about the small idyllic town that is Elkhorn, Wisconsin. They get into Mark Shackleman, who's a night watchman at a Catholic convent known as St. Coletta, the very same St. Coletta where Rosemary Kennedy was housed after her father, Joseph Kennedy Sr., had her lobotomized for agitated depression to combat her sometimes violent mood swings in 1941. They add around midnight, Shackleman was walking around or through the fields near the school when he saw something perched atop a nearby Native American burial mound. It appeared wolf-like, yet standing upright, and appeared to be clawing at the ground. Shackleman approached the creature to get a better look, but it fled. The following morning, Shackleman told his wife about the creature, describing that its thumbs and little fingers appeared shriveled, notably shorter than the others on its hands. During the daylight hours, Shackleman returned to the mound and discovered raking marks in the dirt. After dusk passed, that's hard to say 10 times fast if you try. Dusk passed. And gave way to the night. Shackleman returned to the mound and once again saw the creature. So he saw it twice in 2 nights. This time, however, it did not flee. It stood and faced Shackleman, who later estimated it to be nearly 7 feet tall. He said the creature was covered with dark or black hair, gave off a bad odor like long dead meat, eyes that looked right into him, and it made a sound. It was like a 3-syllable growl, low and mean, something like "Gadar." I'm reading it exactly as it's written. Gadar. With it almost Scottish-like, with the accent on the second syllable. So Gadar. Exactly like that. Mark Shackleman was in his mid-30s at the time, a strong and capable man and a former heavyweight boxer, but the encounter made the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. He said then he did the only thing that he could do. He prayed to God to save him, and it turned and slowly walked away. For a long time, he said, I stood there. That bad smell hung in the air, and then I said another prayer of thankfulness. I never saw the thing again, and anything even like it. Some who heard Shackleman's story assumed that the creature must have been a hellhound, a creature often found in ancient European and biblical literature. The growl of a hellhound was once described by writer Bob Trubshaw as a halfway station between articulate speech and silence, filled with emotion and power, but utterly lacking in reason. Then there was what Shackleman had heard the creature say, Gadar! I can't help it. It's catchy.
Right.
Which shares an uncanny resemblance to Gadara, which is a site mentioned in the Bible as the location in ancient Judea where Jesus exorcised a demon-possessed man coming from the tombs, just as the creature Shackleman saw had been clawing at that burial mound, which is an interesting fact. Even among believers, though, this hellhound explanation for the Beast of Bray Road carries little credence. Rather, it highlights how the creature seems to defy explanation. When presented with something beyond understanding, it often is easiest to compare it to what you do know. In any case, Shackleman's story ends there. The creature he saw atop the burial mound vanished for a time, or perhaps it simply lay in wait. As nearly 50 years after Shackleman's encounter, stories of the creature once again began to surface. They talk about, throughout the 80s and 90s, sightings of the Bray Road beast rose in prominence, though mostly seen around Elkhorn. Locals also reported sightings of the beast as far as Walworth, Racine, and Jefferson counties. The first of these recent encounters with the so-called Wisconsin werewolf occurred in the fall of 1989. Around 1:30 a.m., Lori Andreezy was driving home along Bray Road from a lounge in Elkhorn called the Jury Room, where she had worked as a manager. There, off to the side, she saw a massive creature. Its back was turned to her, but as she continued along the road, she glanced back and caught it from the front. It was kneeling, she said. Its elbows were up and its claws were facing out, so I knew it had claws. I remember those long claws. She said it seemed to be holding something between those long claws, roadkill perhaps, but unlike many animals which would turn and run when headlights were aimed at them, this creature instead turned and stared at her, terrified, and Dreezy then drove home. The next morning, she ventured to the local library to dig through catalogs and find something that might explain what she saw. When she found an entry that was in the Golden Book of the Mysterious, published in 1976, which featured an illustration labeled werewolf, interestingly enough. It was night, and it was quite late, but I know what I saw, Andreezy went on to say. She said, you don't mistake something like that. To this day, I believe it was satanic. It was just my feeling. I don't believe in werewolves per se, but I believe something could be, well, conjured up. 2 years later, another local named Doris Gibson claimed to have seen the beast. It was Halloween night, 1991. Gibson was driving along the road through the fog when she hit something and felt her front tire lift off the ground. After driving another 50 feet, she stopped the car and got out to assess the damage to her car and to whatever she might have hit. There was nothing on the road behind her. As she made her way around to the back of the car, it came running out of the woods. Oh, so she hit it and it was still alive.
Oh.
Yeah. Here comes this thing, she said, and it was running up at me. It was no dog and it was bigger than me, she said. I've never seen a human run like that, and my uncle was a track star. Gibson quickly got back in her car, slammed her foot on the gas, and at that same moment, the creature caught up to her car and landed on the trunk, only sliding off because it had become slick in the rain. Ugh. Gibson said she felt she would have been dinner had the beast caught her, but she managed to escape. Except later that night, she saw it again.
Jeez.
She picked up a friend from a party, and on the way home, that friend pointed out the window and screamed, "Look at that thing." Gibson wasted no time in speeding away, but when she got home, she noticed claw marks on the back of her blue Plymouth Sundance. Gibson later described the creature as a freak of nature, one of God's mistakes. Isn't that scary?
Mm-hmm.
As we know, Linda Godfrey also talked a little bit and published both Gibson and Andreezy's stories in the local paper, The Week. And shortly after, even more people came forward with accounts of the alleged Beast of Bray Road. As reported by Milwaukee Magazine, Linda Godfrey acknowledged some of the nuances on her website. She also went on to say there's a high probability that everyone is not always seeing the same thing. There could also be a biological, physical animal seen by some, while others see phantoms or supernatural entities from a variety of sources. A few may be misidentifications or hoaxes. For the most part, sightings of the Wisconsin werewolf have dropped off since the 90s, but a few still believe the creature lurks in the brush along Bray Road. And of course, there are those who never believed in it to begin with. In either case, the legend of the Beast of Bray Road has solidified itself in the pantheon of American folklore. And who knows, it may still be out there. Kind of an interesting little story, that's for sure. We're coming up to the end of the program here, and I'll tell you, we have a story here about the Abergavenny man who claims he woke up in a lair of leprechauns. I don't know how this happens, but I tell you what, we'll give you the long and short real quick here of just how it may have happened to one man here, as he claims it has. Like most people with an above average IQ, this man claims to have a healthy contempt for leprechauns and their violent and insidious ways, exclaims this man, who goes by the name of, is his real name really Turnip? I guess it is. Johnny Turnip.
Oh, I thought his first name was Turnip, and I was like, ooh.
No, he's a semi-professional paranormal investigator, Johnny Turnip. Okay. Yeah, that's his name. He claims here that he it's left scars that run both deep and wide, and that he's run into actual leprechauns. He says, like most people with an above average IQ, I used to have a healthy contempt for leprechauns and their violent, insidious ways, explained Turnip, behind the PR smokescreen of rainbows, pots of gold, and jolly little fellows with bushy beards in green tunics who are partial to merry tipple. There's a darker and more deranged truth. For example, not many people know that leprechauns were once fairies who let materialism and insatiable appetites corrupt them, nor, for that matter, is it widely known that they were once responsible for the mass slaughter of mermaids.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. Rest in peace, mermaids.
Yes.
And there is only a handful of people who are aware how they've attempted to thwart me at every turn in my quest to find my ancestor, Potato Creek Johnny's pot of gold, and restore magic to the world. Now he just sounds like he's smoking something. However, after waking up in the belly of the beast, so to speak, I had to modify the way I feel about the little folk, he went on to say. It's come to my attention that we both have a common enemy in the rogue AI clown Peter Paleface. And the world's only hope lies with us putting aside our differences and uniting the tribes to fight this diabolical threat that has neither a beating heart nor an eternal soul, he went on to say. This kind of sounds like a storybook, doesn't it?
Is he pulling our leg?
It kind of sounds like it, but he's not.
Okay.
Turnip told the Chronicle he had his epiphany after passing out in the Beaten Dog Tavern in Barstow, which kind of sounds like he's had a little too much to drink. Obviously, the desert, the peyote, the booze, meeting Jim Morrison, and hitching a ride with old Father Time took its toll on my nervous system in ways I hadn't considered, explained Turnip. There's chemicals involved. According to the boys, not long after I lost consciousness, they picked me up off the floor and placed me on the pool table to sleep it off. Well, they carried on partying until they also inevitably passed out and collapsed in a pool of stale beer. From what I can gather, while they were sleeping it off, the Leprechaun's head guy, Greensleeves, and his crew saw their chance to capture us. He told me later that they had been tracking our movements since we entered the desert while we were waiting for the right time to make their play. While we were out for the count, they trussed us up like hogs ready for the roasting and bundled us into the back of a lorry and took us to their cave, which was buried deep somewhere in the bowels of Hollywood Hills. This seems like kind of a fantastic story, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Turnip added, you can imagine our surprise when we came to. Not only were we bound and gagged in this weird cave decorated with thousands of cheap fairy lights, but we were surrounded by what I first thought were hobgoblins. Turns out it was just a gang of leprechauns without those stupid hats they wear. They must take them off when they're kipping, he says. I remember thinking, thank God, that's all they took off. Anyhow, I started trying to shout through my gag, as did Big Tony, whose eyes were bulging at the indignity
Gag and
of
Big
it.
Tony. Okay,
Yeah.
same sentence.
Same sentence. But the leprechauns just pointed and laughed until one of them pointed at Tyke, who must be another friend, all confused, and said in his annoying sing-song voice, have we accidentally tied up one of our own? I guess Tyke is a small one. Yeah. No, bellowed a voice that cracked like thunder. Or no, bellowed the voice that cracked like thunder from the back of the cave. That's just one of their screen idols. Admittedly, he's diminutive and has something of a riddle about him, but he's not one of our kin. He's as human as war and cruelty, said the leprechaun. Turnip explained, as we all turned in the direction of the voice, the biggest leprechaun you've ever seen came striding out of the shadows like some sort of colossus from a land before time. He was at least 5 feet tall and was well buff, but not in a gym bunny way. This little fellow is all Street Fighter. I could tell straight away from the way he held himself and the no-nonsense glint in his eye that this fellow was Greensleeves. That and the fact that his sleeves were green.
Oh, my God.
He was definitely a leprechaun, but with the exception of the sleeves in his jacket, he was dressed in black. And his hair wasn't red, it was black and trimmed quite short. But the most striking thing about him was that he wasn't sporting any of those silly hipster beards like the rest of his kind, but rocking the sort of designer stubble that we don't really see outside the 1990s. In a certain light, he kind of looked like George Michael, if George hadn't been so seriously hard about a foot shorter. It says here. So the leprechaun looked like George Michael.
Okay.
To cut a long story short, too late, the guy definitely knew how to make an entrance. The guy, Johnny Turnip says. Turnip told the Chronicle that after the boss leprechaun had him and the boys untied, they had to wait until Tom Cruise stopped hyperventilating and making all sorts of crazy threats. I guess that would be Greensleeves.
Yeah.
I love Tyke like a brother, explained Turnip, that he often finds it hard to differentiate between reality and the movies. He always thinks he has to play the hero and save the day. It all got a bit embarrassing because when the gags came off, Big Tony, Puerto Rico Paul, and me.
Puerto Rico Paul. This has got to be. Oh, this does not sound. Yeah.
Knew from being in similar situations, I guess they've had run-ins before with leprechauns, that when you're outnumbered, outgunned, and in a cave full of hotheads with beards, drinking problems, and height issues, it's best to keep quiet and focus on gaining some tactical advantage with leprechauns.
Yeah.
Tyke, on the other hand, went all red-faced and began shouting stuff at the leprechauns about how he was going to rain Mary all hell down on their heads and wipe them off the face of the earth. You know, standard Hollywood leading man retribution fantasies. The leprechauns all just laughed, and who could blame them? Tyke was trussed up like a pig and screaming threats. It wasn't a good look, and he was letting the team down. Thankfully, a leprechaun waddled up to him and hit him repeatedly around the face with a dead fish.
Where'd the fish come from?
I don't know. This has
got to be made up.
This is like a bad THC gummy dream is what it's like.
Yeah.
The shock of that was enough to shut him up, it says here, but it was more than humiliation. This is like a really bad Parashare written by somebody on psilocybin. Especially because we all started laughing at this real slapstick of it all. It's not like the movies, is it, Tom? Said Puerto Rico Paul gleefully as he almost choked on his own laughter. As we shrieked uncontrollably and it transcended our terrible situation with humor, Greensleeves silenced us with his booming and commanding voice when he roared, "No!" And then a lot more softly, now he had our attention, and he said, "It's not like the movies at all. We're now on the same side, and here's why." Chernow batted when Greensleeve said next was something of a game changer. I don't need any more of this story. I think we're done. Let's get to our
overly ridiculous.
Yeah, let's get to our palate cleanser. I think we're done with that.
We need it cleansed.
Yeah, we'll skip our story about the treasure. We'll hold it for next week about the strange metal from beyond our planet, which was in the ancient treasure. We'll do that next week. I can't take any more this week. I think I'm done.
That guy has totally destroyed us.
Yeah, the
ruined it.
Leprechaun thing was too much. Our palate cleanser today is about cold, Mallie. It's just plain cold here in Minnesota. Yep. The warthog or whatever it was that we took out of the ground yesterday, this weekend, says 6 more weeks of winter. I know people are like, it's a groundhog, not a warthog.
We even have a song here. It's so cold in the D.
It's a cold what?
There's a song. It's cold in the D.
The D?
There is. It's in the D for Detroit.
Oh, Detroit. All right. Okay.
Yeah. What are you thinking? Nasty.
Disnick.
Disnuts.
D's nuts. So here's how cold it is. How cold is it? Well,
how cold is it?
Evidently, it's so cold that some people are literally allergic to it.
Ooh.
And it can prove deadly. That's right. For an unfortunate few, being cold isn't simply uncomfortable. It can be a matter of life and death. For some people, cold weather isn't just an inconvenience, requiring an extra layer of clothing or the thermostat to be turned up. For others, exposure to cold can trigger an allergic reaction severe enough to cause them to collapse.
Good God.
You know anybody like that?
Nope.
I think they all live in Florida now. I'm pretty sure. It's called cold urticaria is what it's called. It's a rare but potentially dangerous condition in which contact with cold temperatures causes the immune system to misfire.
Oh.
The results can be hives, swelling, pain, and in some cases, life-threatening anaphylaxis.
Okay.
Yeah. The condition was first described in 1792 by a German physician called Johann Peter Frank. I bet you he's got the D too, if you know what I mean. Today, we know it is almost twice as common in women than in men.
Oh.
So guys, when you're giving your girl crap because she's cold, it could be she's got this disease. Think of that.
Oh, I'm going to use that excuse when I turn up the heat, the thermostat, and I get yelled at.
Say you could have cold urticaria. Tell that to Mr. Fox for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. The average age of onset is the early 20s, although it can affect people at any age.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some good news, though. Between 24 and 50% of people with the condition see improvement, even full recovery over the years. So you can get better from it.
Okay.
There's 2 forms of the condition. Primary cold urticaria, it's hard to say, is the most common, accounting for about 95% of cases and often has no known cause. The remaining 5% are classified as secondary urticaria, which is linked to underlying causes and conditions or infections such as Epstein-Barr virus, certain types of lymphoma or blood cancer, HIV, or hepatitis C.
Oh.
It's that serious.
Yeah.
Primary cold urticaria typically causes a rash, swelling, bumps, or hives, though some people often report fatigue, fever, or aching joints. Symptoms usually appear when the skin is exposed to cold, but also can occur when the skin warms up again. Triggers aren't limited to cold weather, but they can include swimming, eating frozen food, drinking cold liquids, or handling cold objects. It can be that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from a few rare genetic causes, why some people develop primary cold urticaria, I keep saying cardia, but it's caria, remains unknown. What is clear is that mast cells are involved. These sentinel cells act as first responders in the body's tissue, including the skin, alerting the immune system to danger signals or germs. What triggers their activation in cold urticaria remains a mystery, The one theory suggests that cold exposure causes the body to produce so-called autoallergens, or substances that trigger an immune response against the body's own tissues. Much more research is needed to understand how this happens. So there you go.
Okay.
You can be allergic to the cold.
I don't think I am, because back in my 20s, I'd wear like a, tank top in the winter at the bar, and you go outside to have you don't have a coat on.
Yeah.
And you go back in.
I think when we're all young, we're that way, right? You're kind of impervious to it because your metabolism is running full bore and,
Yep.
And then as you get older, your metabolism slows down and a slight.
Yeah. Now I look like an Eskimo when I take out the trash.
Right. A slight stiff breeze when it's 69 degrees makes you go, ooh.
Exactly. Winter's coming.
Winter is here. It's cold out.
Winter's here.
I can't take it anymore. In our secondary palate cleanser today, it's so cold out there, Mallie. How cold is it?
How cold is it?
Trees is exploding.
Ooh.
Did you hear about this last week? And the week before?
You know what? I want to say I did.
So, buddy.
Wait, didn't we talk about it?
Well, a little bit. We kind of hinted about it. A buddy of mine texts me and he goes, I effing hate Minnesota. The trees are exploding. And I go, oh, relax. And he goes, no, really, I just got an alert on my phone that trees are exploding. And I go, okay, what are you smoking? And he goes, no, seriously, look at your phone. There was an actual alert that went out when we were dipping into the 18 below range. Mm-hmm. It was an exploding tree alert from the National Weather Service.
Okay, yep, that's what we were talking. I'm like, this sounds familiar. Yep, that's why we were talking about it.
Americans in 6 U.S. states were warned about the threat of exploding trees last week. It's a peculiar phenomenon that occurs during periods of particularly cold weather that's been raising eyebrows recently. If you happen to be strolling through picturesque woodlands in the American Midwest or Northern Plains last week, you might avoid standing too close to trees because they could explode. Boom. Just like that. It's because cold weather has brought an unusual phenomenon known as frost cracking. Did you hear trees cracking when outside?
I have heard trees cracking before.
Yeah. What happens is tree trunks literally burst outward like an explosion. So you hear this crack, right? According to meteorologist Max Velocity, which is a great weather
that's an
name,
awesome name.
Isn't it? States particularly at risk right now include Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Dakota, and South Dakota, as well as parts of Iowa and Illinois. Okay. The phenomena occurs when sap and water inside the trunk freeze, causing the interior of the trunk to expand and push outward against the bark until it suddenly and catastrophically gives way. The resulting fracture can occur so violently that the sound often resembles a gunshot going off. It's loud. I heard it sitting in my house.
Okay.
I heard one of the trees going bang. And I was like, geez. The problem is particularly prevalent now as parts of North America have been subject to extreme cold with temperatures in some states plunging as much as 30 degrees. So this got me thinking. If a tree can do this, what happens to the poor little animals that are out there?
Ew.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I worry about my chipmunks. I mean, although Exploding Chipmunks is a great band name.
It just sounds wrong.
The Exploding Chipmunks.
Yeah.
But
a heavy metal band.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
Although I'll tell you this much. That little rabbit is so big. That's out there. I mean, she's really but I feed her well.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, she's not going to explode unless she explodes from eating too many seeds. But I mean, man, it gets so cold out there. How do they live in that?
Yeah.
I mean, when it's 18, 19 below, just air temperature, not wind chill.
Right.
How do you survive in that? I mean, I realize you had a fur coat on.
Right.
But still. I have a parka that's set to survive in 95 below. Right? It's got this fiber fill in it. It's like an explorer's parka. Okay. I went out in that in 18 below, Mallie. I still froze. I don't know how animals do it.
Yeah.
I just don't know. But that's our palate cleanser today.
Exploding trees and animals.
That's right. Exploding trees, exploding animals, and being allergic to the cold.
Mm-hmm.
And with all this, people may say, well, why do you still live there, Tim? Because I love seasons.
Even though the good ones are short.
That's right. They all are, really, if you think about it. I mean, winter's not that long. It really isn't.
I think that's the longest one.
How do you figure?
Minnesota? It gets cold like in October. It's snowing.
Well, no, we didn't have snow until end of November this year.
Well, this year was unusual.
Yeah. Middle of November we had snow. But then, come March, end of
Because there
March.
have been plenty of Halloweens where there has been snow.
Right.
Not the Snowmageddon or whatever you call it that was 91.
But then remember, it was a Prince song. Sometimes it snows in April. Sometimes it's done by April.
Yeah.
So then that's what, 4 or 5 months? And it's done,
Right.
Right? Then you have 8 whole months where it doesn't snow. So is it really the longest season?
Feels like it.
It just feels like it.
Mm-hmm. Because it's extreme. It's that cold.
That's the thing, It just depends on your tolerance for it. You either
Yeah.
go out and have fun at it, or you stay inside and go, I can't wait for it to get warm.
Mm-hmm.
Either or. But it just depends. It's like when you shit the bed. It just depends.
Jeez Louise.
Right? So that's that. That's it, and that's that. What do you got going on in your world, Mel?
Well, it's February, so I'm hoping to do some bacon. I'm in a pink mood.
Oh.
So I want to make things with pink.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So like pink cocktails, pink food.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love February. It's my favorite month.
Yeah, February's a good month. It's definitely a good month. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I gotta have you weigh in on this before we leave today. I know people go,
Okay.
Is this a football show or a paranormal show? Who you got this weekend? Big game.
Oh, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I don't like either one.
It's not a matter of who you like. I want your witch gut here. What do you feel? Who do you think? If you had to, if you just calm down and just first one that comes to mind when you think Seahawks.
Wait, remind me who's in the Super Bowl?
Seahawks or Patriots? Patriots or Seahawks? Which one?
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Patriots.
See, okay, so I think so too. Now when I weigh them, my gut says Patriots. Realistically, I think Seahawks. But there's something about this game that tells me that the Patriots are going to pull this out.
Yeah. I like the Seahawks uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
I like the colors, but I don't know. I probably Patriots.
Seahawks are a better team, but I think I think Sam Darnold is going to turn the ball over too many times. I just think that Patriots are going to take advantage of it. They're going to win the game. Start of a new dynasty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, hopefully.
We'll see. We'll see. Big game on Sunday, and you got big plans for the game on Sunday?
Not really. I think I'm solo on Sunday. I think Derek's working. I think he's at the firehouse, and then and everybody. Yeah, I think I don't know. I think I might just stay home and just eat myself to death.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stay away from the Super Bowl parties and just kind of veg out with the dogs and yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a quieter than usual Super Bowl at our house because of all the family illness and stuff. So yeah, it's just gonna be just a few of us. So
yeah, take a couple naps and enjoy my Sunday, my quietness.
There you go. But yeah.
Yep. Any other fun plans other than Super Bowl for you?
No, gonna be a quiet weekend. Gonna be a quiet weekend and plan it for next week. That's how I spend my my weekends. I always spend my weekends working.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. I love prepping for the show. So
Yeah. Hey, at least you're working.
that's right. At least I'm working.
It's a good thing.
Speaking of, tomorrow on the big program, you ready for this?
Yeah.
We're continuing the theme of the 20th anniversary this week, and we're inviting an old friend of the program. If you remember, what we did in 2006 is we featured members of TAPS, right?
Yes.
So we're going to do that this year, and we're going to bring in Steve Gonzalez tomorrow.
I like him. He's so nice.
Yeah. So we're going to have Steve Gonzalez on. We're going to talk about what's going on with him, what's going on with TAPS, and what's going on with the state of the paranormal. So we'll we'll have him on tomorrow. We'll chop it up a little bit, as the kids say. So that's what's going on tomorrow on the big program.
Very cool.
Yeah. So starting off February with a big bang.
I like it.
Yep. So that's what's tomorrow's show. Well, I think that'll do it for today. That's what we got for you today.
That's what we got.
That's what we got. But if there's a guest you'd like to hear from, by all means, submit it to me, tim@darknessradio.com. Be sure to rate and review us. Give us a nice 5-star review if you would. And if you are listening to the show and you are not watching the show on video, just go to YouTube, the original Darkness Radio, or just go to darknessradioshow.com. You can watch the video and listen to the show all in one spot right there at darknessradioshow.com. Also, as Mallie mentioned before, there is Darkness Radio and True Crime Tuesday swag at darknessradioshow.com. Just go to the shop, brand new hoodies, tees, Darkness Radio rocks glass, mugs. There's a little hat. There's there's a skull cap. There's all kinds of neat stuff there. So go get it right now. Go get the merchandise. Support the show. There you go. All right, for Mallie Fox, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for joining us today on the best in paranormal podcasting. We'll see you tomorrow for Steve Gonzalez from TAPS right here on Darkness Radio.